Welcome to Echo of Crime YouTube channel. On January 23, 2006, 24-year-old Jennifer Kesse returned to her Orlando condo after a relaxing weekend trip with her boyfriend. It was a Monday evening, and everything about her routine seemed perfectly normal. She spoke to her family on the phone, talked to her boyfriend before bed, and planned out her next workday at Central Florida Investments. Jennifer had just been promoted, she was financially stable, and she was excited about her future. Nothing in her conversations hinted at fear, stress, or danger. If anything, it was a day that felt steady, predictable, and completely ordinary. Jennifer lived alone in a recently purchased condo, a place she loved, but also one she had expressed mild concerns about. The complex was undergoing heavy renovations, and many of the workers on site were temporary laborers who often whistled or stared when she walked by. Though Jennifer mentioned it to friends and family, she never reported anything formally. She simply carried on with her life, confident and independent. That night, she set out clothes for work, placed her belongings neatly in the usual spots, and prepared to wake up early for her morning meeting. But the next morning, January 24, 2006, Jennifer did not arrive at work. Her co-workers knew immediately that something was wrong. Jennifer was punctual, responsible, and never missed a day without notice. Repeated calls to her phone went unanswered. When her family drove to her condo, they found no signs of forced entry, no struggle, and nothing out of place. The only thing missing was Jennifer herself and her car. Within hours, Orlando police opened a missing person case. By that afternoon, her family knew this was no simple disappearance. Jennifer had vanished between the safety of her home and the short drive to work, a distance so familiar and so routine that it made her absence feel even more unsettling. No one knew it yet, but within 48 hours, investigators would uncover a piece of CCTV footage that would change everything. A blurry, silent video clip capturing the most important clue in Jennifer Kesse's case and the greatest mystery behind her disappearance. On January 26, 2006, 2 days after Jennifer Kesse vanished, police received the first major breakthrough in the case. Jennifer's black Chevy Malibu was found abandoned in the parking lot of a nearby apartment complex called Huntington on the Green, less than a mile from her condo. The discovery brought a surge of hope. Maybe the car would hold clues, fingerprints, or witness accounts. But when investigators arrived, they encountered a scene that only deepened the mystery. The car appeared as if it had been wiped down. No obvious fingerprints, no signs of struggle inside, and no personal items that pointed to Jennifer's direction of travel. Even stranger, the driver's seat had been moved far back, positioned for someone much taller than Jennifer. This detail suggested that whoever parked the car was not the same person who had driven it daily. Detectives canvassed the complex, but no one reported seeing Jennifer, hearing anything unusual, or noticing who left the vehicle there. It was as if the car had simply appeared out of nowhere. Then police reviewed the complex's surveillance footage, and everything changed. A security camera mounted on a building had captured Jennifer's car pulling into the lot around noon on the day she disappeared. The driver exited, walked calmly away, and disappeared behind a building. This clip would become the single most critical piece of evidence in the entire investigation. But there was a problem. The footage was low resolution, recorded frame by frame rather than continuously. Every few seconds, the camera snapped a still image. That meant important details, movements, angles, facial expressions, were missing. Worse, in all 3 frames showing the person, their face was completely obscured by the metal bars of the fence in front of the camera. Every step taken aligned perfectly with the fence posts, blocking the head and rendering the person unidentifiable. Investigators called it an extremely unlucky coincidence. The footage showed a person in work-style clothing, a white shirt, dark pants, possibly work boots, walking casually, not rushing, not hiding. Their posture suggested confidence and familiarity with the area. Detectives studied the video over and over. The FBI enhanced the footage. Experts analyzed the suspect's gait, height, and body proportions. They estimated the individual to be between 5 feet 3 inches and 5 feet 5 inches, likely male, But even that assessment was uncertain due to the clothing and video quality. The clip offered no clear direction, no license plates, no face, just a calm walk away from Jennifer's abandoned car. Meanwhile, investigators returned their focus to Jennifer's condo. The last confirmed activity inside her home was the shower she had taken that morning. A wet towel, makeup items, and outfit choices left behind suggested she had gotten ready for work just as she normally would. But somewhere between locking her door and the short drive out of her complex, something happened. Something that caused Jennifer to vanish without anyone seeing or hearing a thing. Police examined known offenders in the area, questioned construction workers at Jennifer's building, tracked down co-workers, friends, and her boyfriend. Nothing pointed to a clear suspect. The CCTV footage, the clue that should have brought answers, instead became the symbol of a case stalled by its own limitations. By the end of the week, Jennifer's disappearance had become one of the most high-profile cases in Florida. News stations broadcast the surveillance images repeatedly, hoping someone would recognize the walk, the posture, the clothing. But no one came forward with a definitive identification. The person captured on camera became known as the unknown suspect, a silent figure who held the key to Jennifer's fate, yet remained hidden behind 3 fence posts and a blur of pixels. In the weeks following the release of the CCTV footage, Jennifer Kesse's disappearance became one of the most widely reported missing person cases in the country. Thousands of tips poured in from all over the U.S., yet none provided the breakthrough investigators desperately needed. Detectives interviewed co-workers, friends, neighbors, and especially the many construction workers who were staying temporarily at her condo complex. Jennifer had previously mentioned to her family that some of the men made her feel uncomfortable, but despite intense questioning, no evidence emerged linking any individual to her disappearance. Detectives also examined the possibility of a targeted abduction. Jennifer had a consistent routine. She left for work early in the morning, often at the same time each day. If someone had been watching her or learning her schedule, they could have approached her as she walked to her car. But no witnesses reported seeing a confrontation or hearing anything out of the ordinary. The investigation expanded outward, checking local businesses, construction sites, and nearby apartments. Yet for every promising lead, investigators ended up at the same frustrating place, another dead end. The lack of physical evidence remained one of the most puzzling aspects of the case. No fingerprints, no personal items, no confirmed sightings. Nothing to indicate where Jennifer went or why. Even the abandoned car offered no clarity. The suspect caught on CCTV had parked it neatly, calmly, almost confidently. That single act raised new questions. Did the person know Jennifer? Did they live near the complex? Or were they simply using the location as a quick drop-off point? Each possibility seemed just as plausible as it was unlikely. As months turned into years, the case grew colder. Jennifer's family refused to let her memory fade. They organized search parties, hired private investigators, and kept her story alive in national media. In 2019, after years of frustration, the Kesse family took legal action and finally gained access to Jennifer's police files. Thousands of pages that revealed the scale of the investigation but still provided no concrete answers. Even with new eyes on old evidence, the mystery remained painfully intact. One lingering theory involved the workers at Jennifer's condo complex. At the time of her disappearance, many employees were undocumented, which complicated background checks and follow-up investigations. Some former residents later claimed they saw unusual activity around the complex, while others described seeing unfamiliar workers in restricted areas. But without solid evidence, none of these accounts resolved the central question. Who was the person in the CCTV video walking away from Jennifer's car? Today, Jennifer Kesse's case stands as one of America's most confounding unsolved disappearances. The CCTV footage, intended to reveal a suspect, instead became a symbol of the case's biggest challenge, a clue that is vital, haunting, and ultimately incomplete. The person's face remains hidden. Their identity remains unknown. And Jennifer's whereabouts remain a heartbreaking mystery. Yet her family, investigators, and millions of true crime followers continue to hope for answers. All it takes is one tip, one witness, or one piece of evidence to unlock the truth behind a disappearance that has puzzled the nation for nearly 2 decades. Until then, the case of Jennifer Kesse remains a story of unanswered questions, silent footage, and a young woman whose life should never have ended in mystery.